I'd like to ask Gloria to just tell the story of your chapter and what you learned from the experience.
Thank you very much, and good evening all, and thanks for coming up. So the chapter I wrote is about theorizing using emotive video data. So when I did my doctoral, which a couple of years ago, I collected data during 2017, which was a period that I'm not sure it's probably not as turbulent as it is now. But at that time, it was a really turbulent a period. So the method of data, so I was looking at the process, understanding the process from a cognitive perspective of transformative learning using executive coaching as a form of learning. So I was interested in understanding how that process happens cognitively and supposedly emotively as well. What I didn't know was that because the clients, or not the clients, the coachees that participated in my study, I'll give a brief about them. There was so much emotion because of the context. So the context within which we operate in emerging markets is often not as seamless and easy to just go out there and collect data. I had selected 3 sectors. The one sector was finance, which is obviously going through some turmoil at the moment, but they were then. And then the health sector, there was life as many, and then the education sector. So they didn't have anything interesting like that, but they had a building that burned. I think it's 111 downtown Josie. And so they were kind of displaced. So some of the people that were supposed to participate basically did not have an office. It probably would not have mattered now, but then, so it actually impacted on how they showed up or not showed up for the conversations. So like a good student, I did all my data collection, which was a video recording, 90 minutes coaching conversations of all the cases that I had. I had 12, the ones that finished were 9. And then again, like a good student, I started coding based on what I've been taught by my supervisor, who's really great at teaching coding. But as I started coding, the trick was I had a video footage which was transcribed into text data. So, so reading the text data alone was not giving me what I was looking for. So I obviously also had to watch the video because I needed to figure out what was going on in terms of emotions, but also with coaching, there's gestures and other things that we observe. I could pick up in my head as I was sitting, coding, watching the videos, reading the transcript, that there was a pattern emerging. But the coding method that I have learned was not giving me that, right? So I had to do the coding and first level code, second level code, and I ended up like, no, but it's not giving me what I'm looking for. And so I started playing around with just drawing things up to say, this is really what's happening. And because the videos were largely emotionally laden, I needed to figure out how to code those emotions because they were very important in the transformative learning process. And so I began to draw these graphs, and at the beginning, of course, it was just like, what am I doing? And ultimately, I decided, okay, maybe I should do a a positive and a negative. But even when I'm looking at a positive and a negative, the emotions are not the same, you know. Anger is not the same as rage or frustration, so the level of intensity is not the same. So I had to figure out how to represent that in the process. And as a result, I came up with a process of coding the negative emotions, but with the level of intensity going down, with the level of intensity going up, and then the kind of awareness in the middle, like the neutral kind of emotions in the middle. So that's basically ultimately what helped me to figure out what was going on and came up with a theory, or contributing to the theory of what is the process of transformative learning and how people started, and then what happened in the first phase. They went through this first phase and they came through to the second phase, and ultimately they landed in the final phase of exploration, of transformation, and all of that. And that's how really my theory emerged in terms of what I contributed to my study. What I really learned then is that I was obviously looking for, I couldn't get any literature that spoke about how to code video data or even emotive data. And so the video things that were there were about a lot of it is, I mean, in coaching we do use videos to teach and train. In education we do that. I graduated as a school teacher, so we did that. They video recorded us and then we watched, and you know, so it's used for teaching, not so much for analyzing data and coming up with that. So I'm not sure if my 4 minutes is over. but in a nutshell, this is really what it was. So I realized that as a scholar, of course, when you are in this process, you also doubt, like, can I actually make up something and say, this is my contribution? Can I confidently actually say this, you know? So that's what I've had to learn, that yes, it is your voice. You have the data. This is what your data is giving you. You are absolutely justified and qualified to actually make this contribution and say, this is how you can do it.